I cannot believe all of the new DLC leaks we have for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's take a look. All right, so it's been wild lately on social media as Riddler Khu has been popping off once again, giving us so much information about the upcoming Indigo Disc DLC and what we can expect from that. And while we still don't have a release date, which is kind of weird, I'm sure we'll get something soon. So in the meantime, we'll kind of tide you over with some spicy riddles and leaks and everything in between. As always, show some love, hit that like button, and make sure you guys subscribe. A lot of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure you guys take a second to just hit that subscribe button so I can stay above 1 million. Let's see what we got going on today. All right, so I wanted to kind of revisit this. He posted an image of a fruit with kind of a pit on the inside, and a lot of people speculated, I was speculating, but this is obviously a tie to Dokutaru, the Peach Momotaro Pokemon. And a lot of people are speculating that maybe there's some ties to the Tapus, right? It will remind you of some Gen 7 mon. So we have this little kind of creature that shows up at Peach's store, but perhaps that's the shell and it actually opens up and then becomes its true final form, much like the Tapus can kind of close their shells. And I think that that's actually probably pretty spot on, especially given what he's teased. So I just wanted to kind of revisit that from the past. Now, Khu goes on and posts, go burn everything with this wicked creature here. And I think there's a few pieces that I want to talk about here. The first one is Lumio's post says, okay, only Lucy related, but I hope Naganadel comes back. And Khu says, prepare tissues. We'll come back to this point later on, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And then someone says, Rowlet Herald says, this the world turtle people used to talk about? And Khu says, this is the apocalypse. And apparently this Digimon represents the 7 deadly sins. We're thinking that maybe there's some sort of tie-in where Dipplin's Evo may have 7 heads. It's a little unclear if this is kind of tying to the World Turtle or if this is more tied to Dipplin, but Primordial Rylea had some pretty interesting comments there. And speaking of interesting, if you guys didn't hear, we actually launched a brand new series called the Alestriad, which features some of your favorite content creators like Shady Penguin, Distant Coder, MBT, Magnitude, and more over on the Alestrals channel. This event is going to take place over the next few months as these different content creators throw down against each other in my card game Alestrals. It's gonna be so epic, so if you want to show some love, definitely check out the Alestrals YouTube channel. And make sure you guys drop a subscription there. We've got some awesome stuff going on. We're creating some amazing content featuring some of your favorite content creators, and we're building something truly special. So don't miss out. Check it out, the Alestriad, which just started, so make sure you guys watch it. Oh, and you can always pick up some starter decks at shopalestrals.com. We still have some leftovers from Kickstarter. Seriously, I'm pouring my heart and soul into making the best card game and monster franchise possible. I'd appreciate if you guys checked it out. This is a big one. Riddler Khu goes on to post, haven't you noticed yet? Sudachi 2, which is the second part of the DLC, is still complete without Momo part. That is massive. And what they're saying is that you do not need to kind of go down the Momotaro Peach Pokemon kind of storyline to be the main story of the Indigo Disc. The Indigo Disc is going to have its own kind of storyline, its own kind of offerings in it. This is going to be kind of a side quest that's going to continue what seems to be the story of Kieran and what happens with the Loyal 3. So I think that's really interesting. I'm quite excited about it, and I think that gives me even more excitement going into the DLC that there are going to be more things going on. Khu also goes on to post who made this. There was some memes that went around of what Pokemon leaks used to be like and what they're like now, and how we kind of have these crazy riddles, and Khu is really our main source of this information, whereas previously we used to get leaks through the Koro magazine, and we would get, you know, real screenshot leaks and stuff like that. And I will 100% say that, like, as someone who's done this for a long time, the leak industry or culture or things around leaks in Pokemon has definitely changed a lot. And I would much prefer kind of what it used to be, the Koro leaks. I thought that it was always really fun, like waking up to Koro scans and, you know, back in the X and Y days and even prior to that, some really cool stuff. But this is what we have now, so we're gonna roll with it, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of can't have your cake and eat it too, you know? Riddler Khu goes on to post, talking about the typing of Terapagos, which is still undetermined at this point. There's some speculation, normal, psychic, rock, or dragon. A lot of people are wondering, and he says, you know what, as you can expect, regular type, and 19th type. So we know that there's going to be some sort of like all functioning 19th type that gets added based on data mining and stuff. Let me know what you guys think, though. What type do you think Terapagos is? I feel like normal rock, psychic, dragon, psychic rock, somewhere in there. I think that that could work. Psychic type, I think, makes a lot of sense. I saw some interesting comments. Anime T saying, I think dragon psychic, it's going to talk like Mewtwo. I do have a hard time seeing, you know, the little turtle being dragon, but I mean, if you look at Pokemon's dragons, you know, there's an interesting precedent there. Khu goes on to post who is gonna be the GOAT, right? And then he shows Zygarde 100%. You've got Necrozma, its Ultra Form Eternatus, and then you've got this new World Turtle. Who is gonna be the best Pokemon of all time in terms of the strongest? This is gonna be really interesting to see. I think it's gotta be the World Turtle, man. I think this new Terapagos form is gonna be the GOAT, the greatest of all time in the Pokemon franchise. Briar, sorry to her fans, she is useless battle-wise, so don't get too excited going to the DLC. Nothing to see here, nothing that crazy. And then a tier will be shed for the Ultra Beasts. It seems as though the Ultra Beasts are not going to be in the Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disc DLC, which makes sense, right? Like, they had their own kind of appearance in Sword and Shield. You know, they had significance there. It's time for the Ultra Beasts to take a step back, get a break. We don't need to see him here in Paldea, right? And Khu goes on to post the others. It seems as though we're gonna see quite a few legendaries make their appearance, and I think that goes really nicely into this post here from Light, saying leaks for Indigo Disc. There will be a new way to catch normal and rare legendary Pokemon similar to Mirage Spots, Dynamax Adventures, Ramanas Park, and Ultra Wormholes. More than 15 legendary Pokemon will come back in Indigo Disc. New flight modes for Koraidon and Miraidon will be involved in this. Now, I'm not 100% sure on the source for this, just being completely clear, but I do think that this is, you know, most likely to be pretty accurate, right? We've seen in these DLCs that they generally find a way for you to be able to get these legendary Pokemon, so it wouldn't be surprising to see them integrate some sort of a new mechanic this way. It's been pretty much a staple in these games. I, for one, was a big fan of the Ultra Wormholes. The Warp Ride was really sick. I thought Raid Dynamax Adventures was decent. I thought that was a good way to shiny hunt, despite my insane efforts for Solgaleo. That was brutal. But I like this idea of the fact that you could potentially be riding on your Koraidon and Miraidon, and, you know, there's some sort of mini game where you go through these different portals. So nothing new from the franchise, all stuff that we've seen before, but I think a new fresh take on it could be pretty sweet. And last but certainly not least, Khu goes on to post, just curious, what's your real takes on him? And posts a picture of Kieran. There was a poll, like him, back off, or check results. I clicked check results just out of curiosity. I'm kind of indifferent to Kieran, but majority of people actually said like him. 51% of people said like him, only 17% of people said back off, and 31.3% said check results. So seems as though a lot of people like Kieran. And then Khu goes on to say, based on the positive comments that most people dropped, I think the community would be hyped to the sky after you experience Indigo Disc storyline of Kieran. So it seems as though the Kieran hype train is real. There's going to be some really cool storyline, or at least from Khu's perspective, in terms of Kieran. So if you're someone who liked Kieran and liked that story, the continuation of it in Indigo Disc is looking to be one that's going to be positive, looking to be one that, you know, players and fans would kind of gravitate to and be excited about. So that's your leak, riddle, and news update right now. I think we're still right on the cusp of like a new Pokemon announcement. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we're very, very close to them releasing some new information for Indigo Disc. We still don't have a release date. Don't forget to check out the Alestria, this brand new tournament. It's inspired by my old school Pokemon draft leagues. I think you guys are gonna really dig it. And again, it features some of the coolest and best content creators in the world. So I'm really excited about it. So check that out. You can check it out at the YouTube channel for Alestrals in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.